Have you ever experienced a moment when someone's words or actions completely derailed your day? It could have been a harsh remark, an inconsiderate act, or simply an unforeseen hassle. It can be incredibly frustrating, right? However, the reality is that no one can dictate your emotions unless you allow them to. What if you could maintain your composure and remain unaffected by whatever life or others throw at you? Picture yourself moving through your day with such a profound sense of tranquility that even the most annoying circumstances can't disturb your peace. This isn't just a fantasy. It's about mastering your emotions. In this episode, we will explore 10 powerful lessons designed to help you stop reacting on impulse, release anger, and take charge of your feelings. These lessons focus on developing the mental resilience needed to face life's obstacles with poise and clarity, rather than dismissing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. From handling criticism to establishing boundaries and letting go of resentments, you'll find practical strategies to safeguard your peace and live confidently. By the end of this episode, you'll gain the mindset and techniques necessary to remain unaffected, even in tough situations. If you're ready to discover the key to emotional independence and lead a life where others can't dictate your feelings, let's dive in. Your path to emotional mastery starts now. The first thing is recognizing that your responses are your own choice. Imagine this. You're enjoying a serene day, perhaps sipping coffee or strolling in the park, when someone suddenly makes a rude or thoughtless remark. Your tranquility disappears, replaced by anger or irritation. You might wonder, why did they spoil my day? The reality is, they didn't. You did. Your feelings are your responsibility, no one else's. No one can control your emotions unless you allow them to. Consider it this way. The world may present you with obstacles, but only you can choose how to respond. Consider a different viewpoint. Picture yourself wearing noise-canceling headphones in a bustling city. The sounds of honking cars and loud chatter are still present, but they don't affect you. Managing your reactions is similar. You can choose not to let the disturbances of others disrupt your tranquility. A profound idea illustrates this well. There is a space between stimulus and response. Within that space, we hold the power to decide how we respond. Our growth and freedom are found in that response. When someone cuts you off in traffic or unfairly critiques your work, it's tempting to attribute your anger to them. However, what if you took a moment to pause instead of reacting immediately? In that pause, you discover the ability to choose calm over chaos and strength over impulsiveness. For instance, if a colleague dismisses your idea in a meeting, rather than reacting defensively or harboring resentment, take a moment to breathe and consider your next move. Is this situation about me, or is it revealing their own stress or biases? By changing your perspective, you can lessen its emotional impact. The advantage of this method is that it doesn't involve ignoring your feelings. Instead, it emphasizes that your emotions are distinct from your responses. Anger, frustration, and disappointment are normal, but they don't have to determine your next steps. Here's a straightforward strategy to adopt this mindset. First, take a moment to pause and identify. When you feel triggered, stop and label the emotion you're experiencing: anger, hurt, irritation. This helps disrupt the automatic reaction cycle. Next, ask yourself questions. Consider why you feel this way. Is it due to the event itself or your interpretation of it? Finally, choose your response. Decide how to act based on your values and long-term peace rather than reacting impulsively. Imagine the liberation of navigating life unaffected by others' behaviors. The rude stranger, the careless comment, the small annoyance. They lose their power over you when you take charge of your reactions. In every moment, you have a choice. You have a choice. Let others influence your feelings, or take back your power to maintain your peace. When someone tries to provoke you, remember that their actions do not define you. Your response does. By choosing to remain calm, you not only achieve emotional control, but also experience genuine freedom. Additionally, stop expecting others to act according to your standards. When you need support, they may not be there, leading to feelings of disappointment and thoughts of their inconsideration. The reality is that people operate based on their own values and perspectives, not yours. Expecting them to think or act like you is as futile as trying to change the weather. It only brings frustration. Consider that everyone is on their own journey, influenced by their unique experiences and beliefs. When someone's actions hurt or irritate you, it often says more about them than it does about you. Trying to change or control someone else's behavior often leaves you feeling helpless. Rather than concentrating on how others should behave, aim to accept them as they are. For instance, consider a colleague who frequently interrupts during meetings. Instead of getting frustrated or attempting to correct them, understand that their behavior is not a reflection of you. By releasing the hope that they will change, you can avoid unnecessary emotional distress. A wise saying captures this idea. Expectations lead to suffering. The less you expect from others, the more you safeguard your own peace of mind. To help you let go of these expectations, try this practical exercise. First, recognize your assumptions. When someone annoys you, ask yourself what you expected from them. Next, question that expectation. Consider whether it's fair to expect someone to behave exactly as you would. Finally, redirect your focus. Instead of trying to control their actions, concentrate on how you can respond calmly and preserve your peace. Consider how freeing this perspective can be. The impolite stranger, the absent-minded friend, the thoughtless colleague, none of them can disturb your feelings unless you allow it. When you stop anticipating that others will live up to your expectations, you regain control over your responses. Ultimately, people are who they are, not who you wish them to be. Acknowledging this reality doesn't mean you have to accept poor behavior or compromise your principles. It signifies that your inner peace is too precious to sacrifice for things beyond your control. The next time someone lets you down or irritates you, take a moment to remind yourself that they are acting according to their nature, not yours, and that's perfectly fine because you determine your reaction. By letting go of those expectations, you achieve freedom, not only from the actions of others, but also from the emotional burden they used to impose. The third sign is to release the need to always be right. Reflect on the last argument you had. It could have been about something minor, like the quickest route to take, or something more significant, such as a conflict with a close friend or partner. As the discussion intensified, did you feel that strong desire to validate your stance, to prove you were correct? We've all experienced this, holding on to our perspective as if it were essential for survival. However, this need to be right is draining and often unnecessary. The urge to win every debate or assert your viewpoint usually arises from feelings of insecurity. It's as if being incorrect jeopardizes our self-worth or identity. But what if you could completely let go of that need? What if you could face disagreements with an open mind rather than defensiveness? A crucial question to consider is whether you would prefer to be right or to find peace. Frequently, our determination to be correct leads to tension, harms relationships, and increases our frustration. Letting go of the need to validate yourself helps maintain your inner peace and enables you to handle conflicts with empathy. Consider a situation where someone makes an unfair accusation against you. Your first reaction might be to defend yourself, argue your point, or highlight their mistakes. However, take a moment to reflect. Is it really worth my time and energy to prove them wrong? Will this dispute have any significant impact on my life? Often, the answer is no. For instance, if a friend believes their approach to a problem is superior to yours, rather than engaging in a heated discussion, you could respond with, "I understand your viewpoint and appreciate your perspective." This approach not only eases the tension, but also helps you stay composed and sidestep unnecessary conflict. The wisdom of the Taoist philosopher Lao Tzu reminds us that those who cling to their opinions will never experience growth. Letting go of the desire to be right doesn't mean you have to compromise your values or stop expressing your opinions. It involves understanding that not every conflict requires you to come out on top. It's about deciding when to engage in a discussion and when to withdraw. Here are some steps to adopt this mindset. First, take a moment before you respond. When you feel the impulse to argue, pause and consider if it's worth your time and energy. Next, focus on understanding. Rather than aiming to win the argument, ask questions to grasp the other person's viewpoint. This can often reduce tension. Finally, choose your battles wisely. Reserve your energy for disputes that genuinely matter, those that resonate with your beliefs or have significant implications. Over time, you'll discover that releasing the need to be right offers a sense of liberation. You'll begin to feel lighter and more at peace when you stop trying to dominate every discussion or validate every opinion. Arguments lose their hold on your feelings when you prioritize peace over pride. Your worth isn't determined by winning arguments or showcasing your intellect. It's reflected in how you present yourself, safeguard your energy, and nurture your inner tranquility. When you feel the urge to argue, take a moment to remind yourself that being right won't bring happiness, but staying calm will. In that instant, you'll discover the true strength of letting go. Additionally, stop allowing others' opinions to dictate your self-worth. Picture this. You are enthusiastically sharing a concept you are passionate about, and someone interjects with a dismissive remark. Their words can hurt, causing your confidence to wane. This occurs because we often allow others' comments to shape our self-perception. The reality is different. Your value is not defined by what others think of you. It isn't linked to their praise, criticism, or judgments. When you depend on others for validation, you give them control over your feelings. Genuine emotional freedom arises when you reclaim that control. For instance, if a coworker harshly critiques your work, your first reaction might be to defend yourself or feel upset. However, if you take a moment to remind yourself that their comments reflect their viewpoint, not your worth, you can maintain your composure and focus. By separating your self-worth from their opinions, you safeguard your inner peace. Marcus Aurelius expressed this insight beautifully. It's fascinating how we tend to value our own opinions less than those of others, even though we love ourselves more. This isn't about disregarding feedback. It's about discerning what is truly significant. Constructive criticism can foster your development, but unnecessary negativity should not occupy your thoughts. Here are steps to prevent others' opinions from determining your self-worth. First, take a moment before responding. When someone's comments hurt, pause and breathe. This brief moment allows you to choose your reaction rather than responding without thought. Second, distinguish between fact and opinion. Consider whether there is any truth in their words, or if it's merely their viewpoint. Concentrate on what contributes to your growth and disregard the rest. Third, reaffirm your self-worth. Remember that your value is not dependent on others' approval. Your worth is inherent and does not rely on external validation. Lao Tzu provides additional insight. If you care too much about others' opinions, you will always be confined by them. Releasing the need for validation doesn't mean you stop valuing others. It means you stop prioritizing opinions that hinder your growth. You release yourself from unnecessary emotional burdens by doing this. When someone's words shake your confidence, take a moment to reflect. Am I allowing this to define me, or can I concentrate on what I know to be true about myself? In that instant, you regain your strength and remind yourself that no one's words can lessen your worth unless you permit it. Real strength is not about dodging criticism, but understanding your value despite it. By refusing to let others' opinions shape your identity, you open up space for authenticity, confidence, and tranquility. That's a life that remains yours. The fifth point is to safeguard your energy by establishing boundaries. Imagine this scenario. A friend calls you during a hectic day, seeking help with something they could likely manage themselves, or a colleague unexpectedly assigns you a task, assuming you'll comply. You feel the burden of obligation mixed with the annoyance of knowing this will derail your plans. Why is it challenging to say no? Here's the reality. Protecting your peace involves establishing boundaries, which are essential rather than selfish. Without these limits, you allow others to control your time, energy, and emotional health. Agreeing to everyone else's demands often means neglecting your own needs. Remember, you can't give what you don't have. If you keep giving without safeguarding your energy, you'll end up feeling exhausted, resentful, and disconnected from what you truly need. Boundaries are crucial for preserving your emotional well-being while fostering healthy relationships. Consider this. When someone crosses your boundaries, it's not solely their responsibility. It's on you for not clearly defining and enforcing them. People can't read your mind, and if you don't express your limits, they may unintentionally continue to overstep. Establishing boundaries is a way to show self-respect and encourages others to do the same. For instance, consider a scenario where friends frequently seek your advice, even during late hours. While you want to be there for them, it can be exhausting. Instead of harboring resentment, you might say, "I value our friendship, but I need my evenings to recharge. Can we chat tomorrow?" This method is both assertive and compassionate, allowing you to maintain your peace without harming the relationship. Epictetus teaches us that true freedom is living according to our own choices. Living freely doesn't mean disregarding others' needs. It involves determining where to invest your energy. Setting boundaries helps you prioritize and ensures you don't overextend yourself. To begin setting boundaries effectively, first, be clear and honest. Communicate your limits in a calm and straightforward manner. Understanding boundaries increases the likelihood of them being respected. First, use I statements to express your needs without placing blame. For instance, say, "I need some quiet time after work," instead of, "You're always bothering me." Second, maintain your boundaries. Once you establish a limit, stick to it. Consistency demonstrates to others that you are serious about safeguarding your space. Lao Tzu provides valuable insight. He who knows when to stop does not find himself in trouble. This teaches us that recognizing and respecting our limits can help avoid unnecessary stress and frustration. Boundaries are not barriers to keep people away. They are pathways to healthier, more balanced relationships. When you feel overwhelmed or unappreciated, take a moment to reflect. Have I clearly communicated my needs? Am I respecting my own boundaries? By setting limits, you liberate yourself from unnecessary commitments and regain your energy for what truly matters. You are not obligated to manage other people's emotions or solve their issues. Your main focus should be on yourself, your peace, your time, and your emotional health. Protect your energy, establish your boundaries, and notice how much lighter and more in control you become. By prioritizing yourself, you present the best version of yourself to the world. Next, consider detaching from others' opinions. Picture this. You share a proud idea with a group, but instead of encouragement, you face criticism or apathy. That feeling of disappointment is genuine and can lead to self-doubt. Ask yourself, why do their opinions matter so much? The desire for approval is natural, but seeking validation from others is like pursuing an illusion. True emotional freedom starts when you stop allowing others' opinions to determine your self-worth. Everyone perceives the world through their unique perspective, influenced by their experiences, biases, and insecurities. What others say about you often reflects more about them than about you. When you take their opinions to heart, you allow them to influence your emotions and choices. Why allow someone else to dictate your story? It's a simple yet impactful idea to keep in mind. Your value is not open to discussion. It isn't dependent on others' views, whether they are compliments or criticisms. Your worth is inherent and unaffected by outside opinions. Consider this scenario. You're wearing a new outfit that you adore, and a colleague makes a casual comment. That's an interesting choice. You can choose to let their remark shake your confidence, or you can remind yourself that their opinion doesn't take away from your happiness. By releasing the need for validation, you empower yourself to live genuinely. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once stated that if you wish to grow, you must be willing to be seen as foolish or ignorant. While this may seem harsh, it can be quite freeing. Personal development often requires stepping outside of societal norms or engaging in actions that others may not comprehend. Seeking validation from others can hinder your progress, whereas following your own unique journey, even if it is misunderstood, can liberate you. Here are some steps to help you detach from others' opinions. First, evaluate their significance. When someone's opinion affects you, ask yourself why it matters and what influence they truly have over your life. Second, reaffirm your own values. Concentrate on what is important to you rather than what others anticipate. Anchor yourself in your own goals and beliefs. Third, practice the art of letting go. When faced with criticism or judgment, recognize it without holding on to it. Visualize their words as leaves drifting down a stream, present but transient. Lao Tzu presents a different viewpoint. If you seek validation from others, you become trapped by their expectations. This doesn't imply that you should disregard feedback or cut yourself off from social interactions. Instead, it means discerning what is beneficial for you. Constructive feedback can foster your development, but unnecessary criticism belongs to the critic, not you. Consider detaching from others' opinions as a way to shield yourself from unfavorable conditions. The rain may fall, but it doesn't have to drench you. By concentrating on your own values, you stay anchored regardless of how others view you. When someone's comments undermine your confidence, take a moment to reflect. Am I living for their approval or my own fulfillment? By choosing to detach, you regain your freedom, safeguard your tranquility, and create a life that is genuinely yours. Keep in mind that your journey is uniquely yours, and it is too significant to be influenced by temporary judgments. The seventh point is to respond with silence rather than anger. Picture this scenario. You're in a heated discussion, and someone makes a hurtful or provocative comment that triggers your anger. Your heart races, your face flushes, and your first instinct is to retaliate with a sharp response. But what if, instead of reacting, you chose to say nothing? Silence can be one of your most effective strategies when faced with negativity from others. It's not about giving in or avoiding conflict. It's about prioritizing calmness over chaos. Responding with silence doesn't indicate weakness. It shows strength in valuing your peace over the urge to strike back. There's wisdom in this approach. The less you engage with negativity, the more serene your life becomes. Silence conveys a powerful message. I refuse to let your actions dictate my emotions. For instance, if a colleague tries to undermine you in a meeting, you can either engage in a heated exchange or take a moment to respond with silence. By remaining silent, you deny them the reaction they crave and keep your composure, demonstrating to those around you who truly possesses the upper hand. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius stated that silence is the best response to anger. Anger often seeks to be fueled, and silence deprives it of that energy. By choosing not to engage, you disrupt the cycle of negativity and safeguard your emotional health. Consider silence as a protective barrier. It deflects the chaos without dragging you into conflict. Here's how to make silence your primary response in challenging situations. First, take a moment before responding. When faced with a provocative comment, pause and breathe. Silence allows for clarity. Second, listen without feeling the need to defend yourself. Often, people just want to express their feelings. Allow them to talk without interruption or the urge to justify yourself. Third, speak only when it is truly necessary. When a response is necessary, maintain a calm and straightforward approach. A Buddhist principle teaches us to speak only if it enhances the silence. This doesn't mean you should hide your emotions. Rather, it's about deciding when and how to share them. Silence doesn't ignore issues. It conserves your energy for times when your voice is truly impactful. Consider how often we regret words spoken in anger. Embracing silence can help eliminate that regret, allowing for reflection and thoughtful responses instead of hasty reactions. Often, silence conveys more than words can express. The next time someone tries to provoke you, take a moment to consider whether your response will add value or simply escalate the situation. By opting for silence, you safeguard your peace, show strength, and maintain control over the narrative. Silence is not merely the lack of a reply. It embodies wisdom. It signifies the strength to transcend the chaos and assert that your words do not dictate my state of mind. My tranquility does. This is how you achieve victory without ever needing to raise your voice. The eighth point is to cultivate gratitude to alleviate anger. Picture a day when everything seems to go awry. Your plans unravel, someone makes an unkind remark, and even minor annoyances feel overwhelming. Anger begins to rise, and you wonder why things have to be so tough. Now, take a moment to pause. Instead of dwelling on the negatives, consider what is going well. gratitude can transform anger into serenity, allowing you to view even the most challenging situations as chances for insight and calm. Here's a significant truth. You cannot experience gratitude and anger simultaneously. Gratitude acts as a mental reset. It helps you break free from a cycle of negativity and highlights the positives that remain, even in challenging circumstances. For instance, if you find yourself stuck in traffic and late for an important meeting, instead of getting angry at the vehicles in front of you, consider this approach. Take a deep breath and identify 3 things you appreciate. It could be having a car, the opportunity awaiting you, or simply enjoying the music on the radio. This may seem minor, but such a change in perspective can quickly alter your mood. Cicero once stated that gratitude is not only the highest virtue, but also the source of all others. Gratitude does more than just alleviate anger. It enhances resilience, nurtures patience, and directs your attention to what truly matters. It's a resource you can access anytime, anywhere, to maintain your inner peace. Here's how to incorporate gratitude into your daily routine. First, take a moment to pause and reflect. When you feel anger building, breathe deeply and consider, what is one thing I can appreciate right now? Next, maintain a gratitude journal. Each evening, jot down 3 positive experiences from your day, regardless of how minor they may appear. This practice helps shift your focus toward the good. Use gratitude as a way to reframe your perspective. When encountering difficulties, think about the lessons you can gain or how the situation could be more challenging. Gratitude often stems from acknowledging what you still possess. For instance, if someone criticizes you harshly, instead of succumbing to anger, try to reframe your thoughts. I appreciate the opportunity to learn from this feedback, even if it was not given kindly. This approach does not justify the other person's actions, but it allows you to maintain control over your feelings. The Buddha teaches us to rise and be thankful. If we haven't learned much today, at least we've learned a little. And if we've learned nothing, at least we haven't fallen ill. If we faced illness, at least we survived. So let's express our gratitude. Being thankful shifts your attention from what you lack to what you have. It doesn't mean ignoring feelings of frustration or anger. Instead, it's about choosing to focus on what lifts you up rather than what brings you down. The next time anger arises, take a moment to reflect on what you can appreciate in that situation. You'll discover that gratitude not only eases anger, but also brings calmness, clarity, and a sense of control. In those instances, you'll understand that peace isn't something you stumble upon, it's something you cultivate. The 9th point is to view criticism as a growth opportunity. Picture this. You've just presented an idea you're excited about, perhaps at work, among friends, or online, and someone quickly dismisses it with harsh feedback. Your immediate reaction might be defensiveness or even anger. It's a natural response when faced with negativity. But what if you could shift your perspective on criticism, recognizing it as a chance to improve rather than an attack? Criticism, regardless of its delivery, can be valuable if you are open to finding it. It can reveal blind spots, challenge your assumptions, or motivate you to enhance your skills. By changing your viewpoint, criticism can transform from a source of irritation into a means for personal growth. For instance, consider preparing a presentation when a colleague highlights several issues in your work. You might be tempted to brush off their comments, thinking they are trying to undermine you. Alternatively, you could take a moment to consider their feedback. Is there any validity to their points? How can I leverage this input to improve? By opting for the latter, you convert what may seem like an attack into an opportunity for advancement. A wise saying illustrates this well. Criticism, like rain, should be gentle enough to foster growth without harming the roots. However, not all criticism is constructive or deserving of your focus. Some may criticize out of jealousy, ignorance, or ill intent. The essential skill is to sift through the feedback, retaining what is helpful and discarding what is not. Here's how to respond to criticism with poise. First, take a moment before you respond. When you receive criticism, pause and take a deep breath. This can help you manage your emotions. Next, assess the feedback's origin. Think about who is providing the criticism. Are they genuinely looking out for you? Is their viewpoint well informed? Look for the lesson in the feedback. Even if criticism is poorly expressed, it may still hold valuable insights. Ask yourself what you can learn from it. For instance, if a family member criticizes your career or lifestyle choices, instead of getting defensive, you might respond with, "I understand your concerns, and I will consider your words." This approach demonstrates maturity and allows you to reflect later without escalating the situation. Epictetus reminds us of this timeless wisdom. If someone claims that a particular individual is speaking negatively about you, don't defend yourself against their comments. Instead, respond by saying that the person clearly doesn't know your other shortcomings. Otherwise, they wouldn't have focused solely on these. This Stoic insight encourages us not to internalize criticism too deeply. Rather, view it as an opportunity for personal growth. When faced with criticism, consider what lessons you can extract from it. Is the critique truly about you, or does it reveal more about the critic? How can this experience contribute to your development? Lao Tzu teaches us that understanding others is a form of intelligence, but understanding oneself is the essence of true wisdom. When criticism is viewed through a constructive lens, it acts as a reflection that enhances self-awareness. Although it may be uncomfortable, growth often comes from such challenges. By embracing feedback, even when it's hard to hear, you cultivate resilience, humility, and a deeper understanding of yourself. When criticism comes your way, take a moment to pause and reframe your perspective. Instead of viewing it as a barrier, see it as an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. Remember that discomfort often leads to personal development, and those who accept it can find a resilience that criticism cannot undermine. Additionally, learn to master the skill of letting go. Picture yourself gripping a hot coal, ready to throw it at someone who has wronged you, but in the process, it continues to burn your hand. Anger, grudges, and resentment function similarly. They inflict more harm on you than on the person who hurt you. True strength is found not in clinging to these feelings, but in releasing them. Letting go doesn't equate to forgetting or excusing the past. It's about shedding the emotional burden that weighs you down, allowing you to break free from past influences. By letting go, you regain your energy, peace, and the ability to live in the moment. The Buddha expresses a powerful truth. Holding on to anger is akin to drinking poison while hoping the other person suffers. Reflect on a time when you felt wronged, perhaps through betrayal, unfair criticism, or hurtful words. How much time did you spend reliving that experience? How much energy did you expend on thoughts of revenge or confrontation? Letting go serves as the remedy to this unending cycle. It enables you to progress rather than remain stuck in the past. For instance, consider a situation at work where a colleague claims your idea as their own. You could waste days fuming over the unfairness, allowing it to impact your mood and productivity, or you could choose to release it, understanding that your value isn't defined by a single instance of acknowledgement. By opting for the latter, you safeguard your peace and concentrate on what truly matters: your personal growth and future possibilities. Lao Tzu imparts valuable insight. When I release who I am, I become who I could be. Letting go transcends merely shedding anger or resentment. Letting go involves releasing perfectionism, fear of failure, and the desire for control. It means accepting life in all its unpredictability and discovering freedom through acceptance. Here are steps to begin the practice of letting go. First, recognize your emotions. Ignoring feelings only intensifies them. Permit yourself to experience hurt, anger, or disappointment without self-criticism. Next, change your perspective. Consider what lessons this situation offers. How can it contribute to your personal growth? Third, concentrate on the present moment. Letting go is a decision you make for your own well-being, not for someone else. Direct your focus to the present, where your true power resides. Imagine letting go as releasing a balloon. The longer you hold it, the more it weighs you down. When you finally let it go, you feel lighter and more liberated. Life shifts from dwelling on the past to exploring new possibilities. As Marcus Aurelius said, do not let external circumstances disturb you. Release them and you will find tranquility. This doesn't imply allowing others to mistreat you or turning a blind eye to wrongdoing. It involves making conscious choices about where to invest your energy. By releasing what you cannot alter, you open up room for what you can influence, leading to a more vibrant, serene, and satisfying life. The next time you find yourself holding on to anger or regret, take a moment to reflect. Is this worth sacrificing my peace? How would my life change if I let this go? The response will lead you toward emotional liberation, as true strength lies not in clinging, but in recognizing when to let go. When you do, you'll find that the lighter you feel, the stronger you become. Here are powerful lessons to help you manage your emotions and remain unshaken regardless of life's challenges. These are not mere concepts. They are practical tools you can apply daily to safeguard your peace, enhance resilience, and take charge of your responses. Keep in mind, the aim is not to stifle your emotions or become apathetic, but to face life's obstacles with clarity and strength. Emotional mastery is not determined by external events, but by your responses to them. The ability to remain calm, centered, and liberated is completely within your control. As you progress, carry these insights with you. Make it a habit to pause before reacting. Establish boundaries that safeguard your energy and release what and who you cannot influence. Each time you opt for peace instead of anger, you move closer to the unshakable life you deserve. If you found this episode helpful, share it with someone who could use a bit more tranquility. I'd also love to hear your own tips or experiences on staying unbothered, so feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you for being part of this journey. Remember, emotional freedom is a continuous practice, not a final goal. So keep prioritizing yourself, stay aware, and grow stronger each day. Until next time, take care and remain unbothered.